Greetings. I just have a I think what is going to be a very short video today. Of course I say I think it's going to be a short video because I often try to make short videos and they seem to be a little long-winded. First of all, I want to introduce you to my friend here, which I think he's fascinating. My husband went into the grocery store this morning and came across this little friend here, this bird. He thought it was appropriate for Bird the Crone to have her own little skeletal bird for the season. And I just love him. He's going to have a very important job. He's going to be guarding the sacred candy corn. No judgments. I know there's some candy corn haters out there. I don't want to hear your candy corn hate in my comments. Okay? I'm not going to make fun of your little Smartie fascination or your Jolly Rancher weirdo-ness. So don't make fun of my candy corn. Okay? I love it. If you eat it in season, it is perfection. So he's going to be guarding the candy corn for me. I had been watching, like everybody does, videos of, we love to watch Ultra Tours, and we love to watch, hauls coming from what people buy at Goodwill or at, wherever they go, yard sales or whatever they do. And also the walkthroughs. I've enjoyed a massive amount of walkthroughs. People getting new tarot decks and showing the tarot decks, which I love to watch, I have to say. And I'm catching up on a lot of old videos right now because for a lot of time in the summer we were still watching videos, but I have to say that a lot of our time we were watching gardening videos and how to preserve seeds collect seeds from this kind of a vegetable or that, or how to, is there a way to can whatever, preserved tomatoes or whatever. We were trying to, everything was about gardening. We were really gardening crazy. We still garden. We're still gardening, and I'm right now I'm to the pickling stage in some of my gardening jobs. Pickling this week. I'm still doing cucumbers, making relish, making pickles, and I pickled some green tomatoes yesterday. So we're still involved in the pickling in the garden, but I found that the gardening videos are not appealing to me so much right now, so I'm catching up on my favorite YouTubers in the pagan community, the tarot community, and especially the tours. I love the tours and those kind of things. So I watched a video from, it was a ritual room, it was a whole witchy room tour. And I don't even know, I have to say, I don't know who the person was. It had a name, it seemed to be a collaborative channel, but it didn't identify any of the people or the person I was watching, and it did not even show the person in the video, so I can't even really give credit. It's a collaborative channel that I have not seen videos from for a long time, so I think it's something that might even be gone. But anyway, it was a fascinating, it was going to show us a whole room, and we went in, and it was like a room probably bigger than this parlor is, and it was used for nothing but, it was a witch's room. And there was just altars lining all four walls, and the cupboard was full, and everything under the tables were full, and she was taking us around of this tour of this room. And I have to admit, in the beginning, I was a little cynical, thinking, oh, here is another person who has 5 million witchy items, but is it just for show? Is it just for the room? Show me this beautiful room. Okay, and I have to say that that's a little cynical kind of statement. I don't mean to say that, but oftentimes I see videos from people that are showing these fantastic witchy spaces, but they don't ever seem to use their space. There's no indication in any other videos at any other time that they ever do anything with the space. Now that's a judgment on my part, and that's really an unfair judgment. It might even be unkind, and I really apologize for that. I don't mean to do that, and I should be more sensitive to that. I recently did a video where a few people thought that I was talking about them. They made assumptions about my video, and I suffered the consequences from that. Let me tell you, that's enough to suffice it to say. Which it wasn't about them in the first place, but so I don't want to. I'm really trying to be sensitive to other people, and I don't want to make assumptions about people. But I do think you know what I mean. We see people showing stuff they buy all the time. Stuff, you know, I bought this for my altar. Here's my altar. But we don't ever see them or even hear them talk too much about many subjects that would imply that they're really doing anything with these things. That's what I want to say. Again, it's a judgment might be unfair. Because I myself have done my share of showing my altar space, and I show it at its best. I show it when it's brand new, when I just put it up and it's all clean and shiny and nice. And to be fair, you don't see much of it otherwise. So, that being said, I want to say that sometimes I'm a little, you know, because some of the subject matter maybe on their channels, they really don't go beyond just showing me things they buy or showing me things they have, but they don't ever tell me what to do with it. Let me just suffice it to say. Anyway, see, this is how I'm making the video longer. You could put money on it, but I'm going to make it longer than I need to. But anyway, what I want to say is, this woman was taking us about, unnamed woman, unidentified woman, all around her room. And there were just altars lining everywhere. And I was starting to think, oh, are we going to have, how many altars? I have, you know, he who dies with the most altars wins kind of a thing. Is this one of these overblown thing? And then I started noticing, look at that altar. There's candle wax, there's melted candles dripping wax down onto the altar cloth. There's, you know, incense ash maybe on another table. Maybe there's herb crumbs, you know what I mean? I know crumbs is not the right word, but little bits of herb, of green, of little herb stuff, you know, that have fallen around. There was, you know, there was obvious evidence that this altar had been used for whatever purpose. Okay. So I got really excited. I really got excited, and I was thinking, this is a good idea for a video. Not to judge. I do not want to judge. I don't want people to judge me, and I don't want to judge you. It's not my job. You're not in my business, as some people would say. But what I want to say is, this is a good, I want to put up a video because I want to ask you to use this time right now. Look at because this is a good time. We're going to be changing up altars a lot. As you already have for Samhain, a lot of people are putting up videos, altars at Samhain's time of the year. A lot of people are changing their altars over to the dark half of the year or have already done so. Some people have already done that, and we're going to be then in the very near future starting to take the Samhain away and getting ready for Yule. So this is the time when we do see a lot of transitioning going on, because these are big. Usually we have a lot. We bring out a lot for Samhain. We bring out a lot for Halloween. We bring out a lot for Yule. We bring a lot for Christmas. A lot of people do. They combine those celebrations together so that there's more stuff. So a lot of times, you know, this time it's about changing out altars, changing out decorations, those kind of things. Okay. This is a great time for you to personally assess your own situation. I really want you to do this. I don't want you to tell me. I don't want you to tell me, but I want you to do this. And this is what I mean. If I'm going to change out my altar here in the parlor, and I'm going to turn it over to Samhain, or I'm going to turn it over to Yule or whatever, what is the situation there on my altar? Have my candles been used? Are my candles like stubs? Is there candle wax dripping? Or are my candles still perfectly the normal size with some dust? Maybe they have a layer of dust on them. Do you see what I mean? Did I use my candles, or did I use them for decoration? When I make an incense blend every Sabbath, I told you in the past, I make a special blend for every Sabbath, which I use initially on the altar when the altar's ready, or whatever, or any kind of ritual that we might be doing for the Sabbath. And then I continue to use that altar blend until it's gone. And it usually only lasts me, you know, I have in this house like 5 work, I think inside 5 different altar spaces in this house right now. And so, you know, I have room for, you know, to use up any altar blend, and I should in just a few weeks. If at the end of the Sabbath and I'm ready to change it into something else, into the next Sabbath, and I haven't used up that altar blend, I have to say to myself, have I not been performing, have I not been practicing my magic? Have I not been practicing my witchcraft? Why do I have incense left? Why do I have candles left? Why is there a layer of dust on the altar? Do you see what I mean? That's a time for assessment, to be really, really honest. Okay? Because I want to say, all of these things that we buy, when we go to get these hauls, the yard sales or garage sales, whatever you call them, or you want to go to Goodwill and buy some things, or you want to go to wherever it is that you buy your things. They're your tools, right? They're tools for your practice. And if you don't use them, they're not tools. If you don't use them, they're not tools. They have to be used. Bayan, lay down. Lay down. Come on. Lay down. Come on. Let's go. Lay down. Bayan. Down. He's 8 months old. He needs convincing. Good boy. Good boy. Oh. Anyway, if you're not using your tools, they're not tools. Now I realize it can apply, the same can be applied to tarot. And I don't want to say that that's not my idea to judge either, because I know a lot of you in the tarot community that I love watching your tarot, your acquisitions of your tarot decks. But, you know, having several hundred tarot decks, that's a collector. That's a tarot collector. And if you're using them as tarot cards, you know, that's one thing. Or if you're not, you just collect them, and that's within your right to do so. Okay. But I'm a tarot reader. Not that you're not. I'm not implying you're not, because I know a lot of you are. But I'm a tarot reader, and I was somebody who, you know, I've been using the same deck. I told you I've been using the same deck here for, how many, 40-some years. Almost 50 years. And it wasn't until recently, watching a lot of your videos, that I have branched out and got some other decks, and I'm really, you know, I'm really liking the decks. I'm really relating to the decks, and that's really cool. And I'm changing my mind, and I really appreciate it. I love watching your videos of the tarot decks. But if they're tarot, remember they're tarot decks for a purpose. You're going to read the cards. If you want to be a tarot reader, if you want to just be a collector, that's different. So maybe that doesn't apply, but it applies to somebody like me, who says I'm a tarot reader. I read the tarot cards. And if I keep them quiet, if I get into the position, I just ordered another deck. I think, how many decks have I ordered now? You guys are very dangerous. Tempted me with all these decks. I ordered a couple more decks. And I'm thinking, well, as long as I read them, it's okay. Because I don't want to be a collector. I don't want to be a collector. I have collected a lot of things in my life, and it's time for me to move on from collecting and use what I have. And if I don't use it, I'm going to get rid of it. I'm at that stage of my life where I want to pare down and simplify my life. And so I have to make sure when the tarot decks come in my house that they get used. One of the ways I'm going to make sure they get used, by the way, this is a good, if you just watched my last video on the journaling, I'm going to be journaling and dedicating each month of the year when I do my bullet journal along with Jessica Starr, the Story Witch. I'm going to dedicate my month to a different deck of tarot. It doesn't have to be a different month for 12 months. I don't have to have 12 different decks. I might, but I can use the same deck a couple times a year. It's just what I'm working with this month. Because that way I can make sure that I do get all my decks that I have get used. And if they're not going to be used, guess where they're going? They're going to be gone. So again, it's a personal assessment. It's not me judging you. It's not me judging you. I really don't ever want you to think I'm judging you. I just want to personally assess my own life and ask you to do the same. And I will tell you why. Let me have a drink first. Excuse me. sometimes, and I know this has happened to me in the past, I used to find myself buying more and more things. You know, I used to sell at an antique and collector's show, fairs, I told you that, years ago. And my poor husband would be standing in the booth that we set up, selling stuff as fast as he could because he knew I was out walking around. You know, you can't sit there all day, you go bats. I'd be walking around, you know, visiting with some people, looking around to see what other people had, but I also have to admit that I was also shopping. And I would be buying stuff as fast as he could sell it. He had to sell the stuff I brought, so you get the new stuff that I bought into the van when we go home. I read one place that I was making memories. We talk about buying things that are nostalgic, but oftentimes we're buying things, at least people that buy things like vintage things, are trying to make memories that maybe they don't have. They're trying to improve on some of the memories they have, not just reminisce about good old days. And I got to thinking, like, how much of the stuff was I collecting, buying and collecting, when it really wasn't, it didn't mean that terribly much to me. I just got caught up in the act of collecting. So that's why I now, you look at itself with this critical eye. I'm looking at my magical things with a critical eye to make sure that I am using what I have. If I don't use what I have, it's gone. Okay? And I want you to look at yourselves and say, are you buying all of those things because you're truly interested and you truly, really want them? Or are you buying them, you know, as a subject? Some people have it as a subject of their, you know, of their tarot, for their tarot channel, to look at new decks. Okay? Once they start looking at new decks, stop buying new decks, what are they going to be talking about on their channel? Once people stop doing, you know, redoing their altars all the time, over and over and over again, what are they going to be talking about on their channel? I think about that sometimes too. What am I going to be talking about on my channel? You know, do I have anything of interest to add? What do people like to do? People love to look at the tarot decks. People love to watch the videos, the tours. So I have to keep coming up with newer and newer altars, which is wonderful. But are my altars really something that are helping me in my practice of witchcraft? Are they working for me? Are they tools to me, or am I just trying to do them for benefit of my YouTube audience? That's what I want to say. This is a self-evaluation time. Again, not a criticism. I think that I have been guilty of some of these things myself from time to time. So I'm going to be using my bullet journal that I showed you in the last video to keep track of what am I using? What am I using? Okay. We're talking about magic. Talking about witchcraft. We're talking about magic. Excuse me. Van. Van. Darling, lay down. Come on. Come on. Lay down. Van. Lay down. 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 Reluctantly, but he did it. Good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Magic is messy, I'm going to say. When you're talking about a witch, you're talking about being a witch, you're talking about practicing magic, using magic as a part of your life. Magic is messy. Magic is not all beautiful altars and all beautiful statues and brand new tarot cards and whatever. And boxes and boxes and boxes of candles of every color that you can imagine. Magic is messy. Real magic. Real magic. Altar cloths get wax on them. Altar cloths get incense, you know, dust, ash on them. Incense, when you're, you know, moving incense around, especially the loose incense that I burn on a disc, it's going to be, I'm going to find that laying around on my altar cloths. Okay? Candles are going to burn down. They don't look so pretty anymore. When you do spell work, you're going to find things, you know, It's a little, but it's a part of everyday life, because everyday life is messy. You can have a brand new, you remodel your house. I just remodeled my kitchen. I'm still remodeling my kitchen. I'm almost finished. But when I made it, the first thing is using that. As soon as you move into that kitchen, that brand new kitchen that you waited so long for and you planned so hard for and worked so hard doing, you move in and start moving your stuff in there, and you start cooking in there. Your brand new stove gets messy, it needs cleaned, your sink might even get stained, your floor gets dirty, your grime gets on the tile, and you got to clean it off the tile. Everyday life is messy. The same thing happens with your magic. It is messy. Okay. But it is the everyday life, it's the bits of incorporating magic in your everyday life that makes you a better witch. We talk about witchcraft as a practice, dealing with magic as a practice. The practice of witchcraft, right? The practice of witchcraft. And that's because it requires practice to become good at it. If I were to ask you right now, I don't know, I think I have 1,000 viewers, or maybe 2,000, I'm not sure, 2,000 viewers maybe. Right now, how many of you, name one powerful person, who do you think is the most powerful witch? Not to compare, but just name a powerful witch on YouTube. Powerful witch on YouTube. I bet you more than half of you, if you would answer with the same person. Easily, Lady Gravedancer. Why is that? Think about it. Why do you think of Lady Gravedancer as being a powerful witch? What makes her powerful? What makes her powerful is that she practices her witchcraft every day. Witchcraft is a part of her day every day. She's working on spells. She's working on working with her tools. She's working at, she pays attention when she needs the protection at home, when she needs something done at work, when she needs something done for somebody in her family. Just like being a musician, you don't just buy a piano and become a musician. You have to practice. You have to practice to be accomplished at the piano. You have to practice to be accomplished as a witch. You have to practice to have your magic work for you. Okay? It demands it. If you're not using your tools, if you're not using these tools every day, regularly, you're not going to have the power that you want. Just having them is not going to give you the power. Using the tools. Okay? Keeping it real, people. Keeping it real is about keeping your magic real. Keeping what you want as a real part of your life. Okay? The only way to make magic real is to make it real. Okay? My garden, I have a garden outside here, okay? And we worked really hard on this garden. And I think some of you were around in the early videos. Bayan, leave it. Good boy. I think some of you were around in the early videos when we first built our raised beds out here. We planned and we learned how to build a raised bed. We built raised beds. We filled them with dirt. We looked at a lot of videos, what kind of dirt we wanted to put in there. We went and got really good tomatoes, good heirloom tomatoes, and put them in there. We thought. We watered them. We put in their sprinkler lines. And we waited for tomatoes to come. We didn't hardly get any tomatoes. It was really, really a disappointment. We mourned it. I mean, it was a really sad year for our garden. Because you know what happened? Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. We didn't make it a part of our daily life. We thought we put good dirt in there. We gave it water. We thought we did everything right. But we didn't feed it when it needed fed. We didn't protect it when it was getting too much sun. We didn't, mulch it so it didn't want to dry out. Okay? We didn't pay attention when it was getting a little diseased or there was bugs attacking something. We didn't pay enough attention to it. We didn't make our maintenance of it a daily ritual, and we really paid with a very bad crop at the end of the year. Okay? if we want to be a tarot reader, we can read every book there is. We can practice keywords until we're blue in the face, right? Watch video after video after video of tarot. But it's not until we start taking cards out and drawing cards every day and seeing what relationship those cards have to our daily life that we start to click with the tarot. That the tarot, we start to understand what it is the tarot has to offer for us. The same thing happens with your other tools. Working with the herbs you want to work with, working with the color correspondence you wanted to work with, working with, you know, stones, until you get them out and work with them and see how they do for you. They mean nothing to you as tools, no matter how beautiful they are on our altars. Okay. We attended a, excuse me. We attended a Pagan Pride celebration in Los Angeles County. It was Los Angeles and Orange County Pagan Pride on Sunday, and we spent the day there, and we were commenting and watching the people. It was a beautiful day. We had thunderstorms the day before, rain and thunderstorms, which was amazing. We don't ever get it. It was really very, very harsh weather. And then the day after, we had like, the day after Sunday, Monday, was just winds that just ripped apart our house practically. They were very strong winds. And the day in between, Sunday in between, was the day of the Pagan Pride, and it was just glorious. It was the most beautiful day. Not hot, just beautiful, you know, your typical 75 degrees, whatever, California day, beautiful sunshine. And it was just a gorgeous day in the park, and watching people get their witch on. That's what you say, watching people get their witch on, because a lot of people, you know, this is the one chance they have to dress up and to identify. To some people, you know, it's the only chance they have to dress up and identify as being a witch. Or other people really getting into Halloween, you know, putting their Halloween kind of things on. And it's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch and have that sense of belonging to a group of people that have this common identity. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. But I can't help but to think, when all said and done, the difference between getting your witch on for one day and getting your witch on for every day. You don't have to look the part. You don't have to look the part to do the bit, you know, to play the part. You don't have to look the part to play the part, is what I'm going to say. You don't have to look like a witch to be a witch. But it has to become a part of your life. One final thing I said, I touched on it yesterday when I was in my video journaling for witches, this bullet journaling coming up. I recommend to everybody, if you don't, bullet journaling is certainly not for everybody, but I recommend to everybody to keep some way of tracking your daily witchcraft, your daily practice at witchcraft. Practice your spell work, you know. I put a couple spells up on YouTube here, and I usually get, and I've spoken of a couple, I've spoken of some things that I've done, and I have to say, I get some criticism from people. People want to see me as a witch, they want to enjoy me as a witch, they want to look at my altar, they want to look, you know, at the tools I have or whatever, but and they want to hear what I have to say, but as soon as I talk about doing something witchy, like doing a spell, people freak out. You know, make up your mind. Make up your mind what you want. If you don't want to know about witchcraft and know about spell work, maybe you should watch the gardening channels instead. Maybe that's more your style than worrying about people doing spells. But anyway, keeping track of spells, but not just keeping track of spells. You know, keeping track of, my husband and I were talking about it earlier. You know, we used to every full moon do certain things, and do new moon certain things. Like full moon, we would, you know, one thing he did was put a perimeter, a protection around this property. Every full moon, every full moon. But as soon as you started missing a few, it became haphazard. We miss a few, miss one, maybe miss a couple. And then we get to the point where, when was the last time we did it? It doesn't have to be done every month. I mean, every 6 weeks, whenever, for us. But it has to be done. So when was it done last? When was the last time that I put a protection of any kind on the property? When was the last time I planted a witch's jar? When was the last time I put up a witch's purse on the door? When is the last time I cleansed this room? You know, I remember doing it because I do a lot of work on this table too. This is my tarot table. And I have guests that come and sleep in here too, and I have people in here for different reasons, different times of the year. But every once in a while, I get it down, I get my stuff, and I really do a cleansing on this room, physical and spiritual cleansing. And when was the last time I did that? When was the last time I, you know, charged my stones? When was the last time I cleaned my crystals? When was the last time I you know, swapped out? Do I need to swap out some of my waters that I have in my collection? Because I have different kinds of waters. I have, you know, I think most of us do. But I have, like, you know, ocean water, rainwater, storm water, you know, lake water, you know, still water, different kinds of water, When do I need to swap any of those out or replace any of those that are not there? You know, I need to keep track of these kind of things, and a bullet journal is a really wonderful way when you get in the tracker in a bullet journal that you can put up spaces for these kind of things. If you don't have a bullet journal, though, you don't need that. You can just keep some kind of a system on your regular calendar, on your phone, or whatever, your computer, to remind yourself to do certain tasks at certain times of the year. Because those are really important. It's really important to keep up with your magic, keep up with the practice of your magic, to keep everything ready to go. I did a video in the past on story magic, and I just did something with some of my stored magic. That video will be up soon. I've shared some of that with you. But I was lucky because I went into my my box, looking for something that I needed for that spell, and I just had what I needed. So I have to get into that box. I've got to renew my supply. Which I've been thinking, oh, I have this stuff in my box. Some of the tools that I made and kept for times when I needed them. When you need them, you need them. Okay, so that's what this is about. Assessing your magic, making sure you are doing what you need to do to keep your magic real, to keep your witch on. To keep your witch on. Not just on Pagan Pride. Not just as Halloween or as Samhain, but all the time. Your day-to-day, the little messy day-to-day practice bits that we need to do. The more you practice, the stronger your magic is going to be. And that's going to make you really happy. That's going to make you really happy in the end. Okay, that's all. I talked too much, probably talked too much. So this is not a short video at all. But anyway, I just wanted to say, this was in my mind and I wanted to share it with you all. And I want to send all of you blessings. And also, thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching all the time. Okay. See you soon. Blessings. And cheers.